Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Joris and today I'm here with the 10th update of my Yuh-portfolio for the month of June in 2025. And you can see immediately I bought Volkswagen this month, so at the end of the month. And momentarily my Yuh-portfolio is worth, or everything that I own on my YUH-account is worth 2,667.08 Swiss francs. And I currently have 321 subscribers, so I'm really happy that a few of you watching clicked that subscribe button this weekend. So that's really nice. Thank you for that. And as always, I start with the same thing. My wage got paid the 25th, so I deposited 200 Swiss francs and I immediately invested it into a stock that I think is worth it value-wise. So that is at a PE below the PE that I think it is worth of paying for that company. We also received 2 dividends since the previous update, and yeah, I had my eyes on Accor to buy at the end of this month, but it was dropping and then suddenly it picked up again, and sadly it never reached my goal. So I upped the PE value a bit. You will see that in a few seconds. And then Holcim and Amrize, they are still hard to predict. Holcim rose a lot, so I'm really happy about that. And overall, Holcim plus Amrize are worth more than last week. So overall, the split is a success after the first week. But yeah, Amrize came to the market really too expensive in my eyes, and I think that is going to hurt Holcim and Amrize overall. But more about that at the end of this video. And now let's take a look at my quadrant overview of how it looked on the evening of the 24th. And I always decide on the 24th, on the evening of the 24th, what I'm going to buy the next day. So on the 24th, you had the same buyable stocks as the month before. So Volkswagen, AXA, DHL, BKW, and Shell. And the previous time I bought Shell and DHL. And yeah, now I was doubting to buy AXA, but the thing is, Swiss Re also came down quite a lot. So maybe I'm waiting till Swiss Re is worth less than AXA, and then I can pick up some Swiss Re, because yeah, it's Swiss francs, and then I'm a bit prejudged to pull the trigger on that one instead of buying some more AXA. But if it remains at the same price at the end of next month, then AXA definitely has a chance. Of course, Accor, yeah, it's now around 19. It was really close to 18. It even dropped below 18 a few times in the past month. But then the last 3 days, it just went crazy and went up again. So we still have the same ones in the buyable but needs to drop category as well, just like previous month. Only Amrize came to join the 20 stocks. So that's the only one in the blue in this overview. And the earnings per share, yeah, with the earnings per share estimate at 3.80 for Holcim, that one is below the PE value that I have in mind at which Holcim is buyable. But yeah, the earnings per share is still unknown, so I didn't want to put it in the buyable category just yet. And you see Amrize, yeah, it's according to my estimation, it's overvalued right now. And then the buyable but category, just the same 5 as the month before. So you have Swiss Re, which is actually coming down quite a lot. Then Logitech, PSPN, BASF, and ENG. ENG, maybe I should up the PE value because ENG is performing really great. and maybe then with a drop and drops below 9, then I can pick up some extra shares, because ENG, just like Amrize, is one of the smaller stocks in my Yuh-portfolio, and yeah, I really like ENG. As I said before, my uncle works for ENG, and I like the bank quite a lot. And then you have the not buyable category with, again, the same 5 stocks as last month. So Swatch, Infineon, Eni, Enel, and Bayer. Bayer went up quite a lot on, yeah, they think it's positive news, but for me, Bayer is still an uncertainty, certainly with an earnings per share that is so negative. So still no turnaround inside there. And I'm not worried about the fact that the price rose already quite a lot. If now suddenly the earnings per share is turning around, I will start buying Bayer without a doubt, but I'm not pulling the trigger too soon. A lot of people will say that's a stupid thing to do, waiting and waiting and waiting. I know that can be the case, but it can also be the case that it's false hope, and then all those that are already pulling the trigger now on buying Bayer can turn up with a huge loss. So I'm not risking that. So what did I buy? I bought 2 shares of Volkswagen for a price of 92.05 euros, and it's really nice to be able to pick up 2 extra shares of Volkswagen. Actually, Volkswagen is like when I don't see an opportunity in any of the 20 or 21 stocks right now for my Yuh-portfolio, Volkswagen is always a great pickup because it's hugely undervalued according to me. And the previous time that I bought it, it was at 99.50 euros. And back in the day, I said, okay, it dropped. And then I said, yeah, when it drops below 80, I'm going to buy more. But that was after, or before, I should say, it was before the fact that there was an agreement with the unions, and also with the fact that they are working together with Xpeng and stuff. So a lot changed since then, and now I thought it was a great time. Okay, I could have bought it at 89 and a bit if I had my 200 francs available 3-4 days earlier, but that's not the case. I only have the funds available after my wage gets paid. So yeah, I have to wait, and unfortunately then it was already up to 92.05 euros again, and the earnings per share went down, so my PE at which I bought it actually went up. But that means that when you look at my previous buying of Volkswagen, that my PE, if you look at the earnings per share now, was even higher than what I bought it at now. And in the long run, everything is going to be okay for Volkswagen, because Volkswagen is a great company. They just need to work on their, yeah, on the cars that they put out. They really need a family car, and Xpeng came out with 2 or 3 extra yeah, versions of cars there, and they made them especially to appeal to the Chinese public, and there the sales are picking up. So this is really great news for Volkswagen as well, because Xpeng comes then with experience of what the Chinese customer wants, and like that Volkswagen can start producing cars in that direction as well. If anyone knows why the car manufacturer jumped higher at the end of the trading day on Friday, so last Friday until 3 o'clock, the car manufacturers were in fact really flat and maybe a little bit down, and then suddenly they jumped like 3-4%. So for me it was a great thing. So because I made up the loss which I had on Volkswagen, because after I bought it on Wednesday, it dropped at the end of the day, on Thursday, it dropped even a bit further. But then with the jump on Friday, I made up everything and even start gaining money on the 92.05 euros that I paid for it. So I'm not complaining at all, but if any one of you knows which news that came out that caused this jump, I like to know it, so put it down in the comments down below. And on the 27th of June, so on Friday evening, I'm going to give the roundup for the month of June. So I deposited the 200 Swiss francs on the 25th. In total now I have deposited 2,500 Swiss francs on my YUH-account. So you see, I started with 500 Swiss francs. Now 10 months later, in fact 11 months later, I deposited 10 times 200 Swiss francs more. So now we are at 2,500 Swiss francs. So even though it seems a small amount, after 10 months the amount gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So if we wait another 12 months, so a year from now, I will have deposited more or less 5,000 Swiss francs, and I'm wondering what the worth will be of our portfolio then. The total on the YUH-portfolio now is 2,667.08 Swiss francs, and yeah, here you can see the euro that I paid for the 2 Volkswagen shares. You can also see that I only converted for 184.13 euros without costs, so I didn't have to pay fees on my currency exchange because it was the special action on the YUH-portfolio. And the 1.25 euros that was already paid with the euros that I had available on my pay account. So now on my balance there is 0 euros. There used to be on the 23rd, I think it was deposited 1.25 euros. You will see in a bit when I come to the dividends being paid out in the past month. And I still have 48.78 Swiss francs left now on my YUH-account. So maybe next month I can buy again 2 shares, or I buy one company and I increase my balance further so that I can buy then maybe in the end of August two shares. So the cash position 48.78 Swiss francs. And these are my investments right now. Here you can see Holcim, because of the fact that 46 Swiss francs were deducted from the buying price of Holcim. I am big in the green on Holcim shares there. I am up 82.45%, but later in the video we will see that I'm still not keen on selling my Holcim shares. Also with AB InBev I'm 10% in the green, with Nestlé I'm 8% in the green. That dropped a lot because Nestlé is still dropping. I don't know why. It's the water scandal. We already know that one was happening. So it's not new. It's not anything new under the sun. So why it keeps weighing on Nestlé, I don't know. But okay. Then BKW, a really good share here in Switzerland, but also active in France and Germany and stuff. So great company, up 13.65%. ENG up 28.37%, Logitech up 7.24%. I have some more news about that later in the video as well. Deutsche Post up 4.69%. I'm not expecting a lot from Deutsche Post in gains, but that's a truly a dividend play, Deutsche Post. And then AXA up 12.74% and Shell up 4.83%. And that's of course because the oil price started to rise due to the war threats with Israel and Iran. So not happy to see it in green because of that, but yeah, Shell is actually hugely underpriced. Maybe they are going to buy BP, but they said they are not going to do that. I as an investor hope that they certainly don't do it, because BP isn't that great of a company. I think Shell should just continue what they do, and over time they will get so much bigger than BP that they can take over BP for a few $1 billion and or £1 billion, and then everything will be settled. And now they will overpay for sure for BP. So I hope that they don't do it. And then our losers, Volkswagen, it was hugely in the red, and then I bought more shares. It went even more in the red, and then on the last 2 trading hours of the day, on Friday, it jumped like crazy, and now I'm only 8.50 euros in the red with Volkswagen, so I'm really happy about that. BASF, I'm down almost 10%, so this one, I'm still careful about this one, but maybe I'm going to pick up some extra shares of BASF in the near future as well. Swatch, it's really cheap right now. It's unbelievable, but I need to see changes in the earnings from Swatch before I start buying. So maybe then it's already 140 again before I can buy one extra share of Swatch. But that's just the way it is. You need to be careful, because rule number one, according to Warren Buffett, is make sure that you don't lose money. And you only lose money when you sell, so I'm definitely not going to sell Swatch, because I think Swatch is a really good company, and intrinsically it's worth way more than the 131.10 Swiss francs. You can ask that at the Hayek family. They are buying shares with the millions in the past few months, so I think they should know the best, because they are on it with their nose. And then we have Amrize with a loss of 15.09%, and nothing I can do about that. It just came to the market at a too high price. I still don't know why the SIX calculated the price so high, but yeah, it's the way it is. So probably it's going to be red for a whole time in my portfolio, but I still believe Amrize as a part of Holcim was great, and now separate it's going to be even greater. So there I am playing in the hand of Trump by saying it, but now that it's an American company operating completely separate, I think it's going to be a really good company. Then we have the Swiss coins. So we got 5 extra Swiss coin because we did one trade buying Volkswagen, and the price went up to 1.9 cent, and because of that I have now 6.37 Swiss francs in Swiss coin. And then the total roundup for my Yuh-portfolio. So I deposited 200 Swiss francs, totaling 2,500 Swiss francs deposited on my YUH-account. And on my YUH-account now there is 2,667.08 Swiss francs. This graph of YUH is still annoying me, because it keeps being the graph of the day before. So although I had here the investments are worth 2,618.30 Swiss francs. So it's up 30 Swiss francs on Friday. So it performed really good on Friday, but it doesn't depict it. So it was around 7 o'clock, I think, when I took the screenshots, and it still didn't change. So I really hate it that they are always running a day behind. And my cash balance is 48.78 Swiss francs. I invested now in total 2,502.76 Swiss francs. So that's with costs, exchange cost, and also with the reinvested dividends included. And the stocks are worth right now 2,611.93 Swiss francs, and the crypto is worth 6.37. So that was on the previous slide, of course. And if you then want to know what the profit or the losses are on the stocks that I bought for the Yuh-portfolio, you just have to deduct the 2,502 from the 2,611.93, and then you come to a plus of 109.17 Swiss francs, so plus 4.36%. The most easy thing to see as well is you just deduct 2,500 from 2,667.08, and that's the total gain on my Yuh-portfolio, but this one is on the actual stocks that I own. Then they received dividends from the past months. So Swatch, I already said it the previous update because it was ex-coupon, ex-dividend on the 23rd of May. And I made the video on the 25th or the 23rd of for you, the Yuh-portfolio. And the value date was the 27th. So on the 27th of May, I received 2.92 Swiss francs because, okay, you have the Swiss withholding tax that is deducted from the total amount that I received, and one share paid out 4.5 Swiss francs. And then the 1.25 euros that I had on my account and that I used to buy a little part of Volkswagen with. So that's the snowball in action right there as well. So from the 4 shares of Shell, it was already, it went already ex-dividend on the 15th of May. So you have to wait for more than a month until you receive the dividend. But yeah, waiting for receiving a dividend is always worth it. So per share there was 0.3136 euros paid out. So in total that was 1.25 euros. And in total, the brutto dividend that we might expect next year or for the coming 12 months, it's 31.29 Swiss francs plus 74.50 euros. And of course, yeah, Volkswagen, it pays out 6.30 euros per share. So that's quite a lot. And that's why I had a huge jump this month. So now I'm even above 100 Swiss francs per year. And it's 101.17 Swiss francs. So the current yield is 3.87%. And my yield on cost is 4.04%. And the total net dividend that I received so far on the YUH-account is 33.51 euros and 19.88 Swiss francs. Because these numbers that you see here, it's brut dividend, so no anticipatory tax or withholding tax is deducted from these numbers. And yeah, because the situation for everybody in Europe is different. When you're living in France, in Belgium, in Austria, or in Italy compared to Switzerland, your situation tax-wise is always going to be different than somebody that is living in another country. So that's just the way it is. And then we can go and look at Getquin. So also the dividends in Getquin, because I have something to say about that as well. So I need to first change the performance here. So the max here, at least you have a complete update of the Yuh-portfolio. So I really hate it that the Yuh app doesn't show it at the current value of your portfolio, but the Getquin app always does it. Sometimes it runs on for too long, but now it's more or less the same as what my actual value is of my Yuh-portfolio. So 2612.70, it's 2611 and a bit right now on my Yuh app. And here you can see Volkswagen still 10.62 Swiss francs in the red. And this one you can change, I think, to intraday. So here you can see that Volkswagen, it jumped 3.63% on Friday, which is really nice. And then the dividends. So here my totals received in dividends is 68.32 this year. And I'm going to receive 77.75. So I still can expect around 9 Swiss francs this year, and it's from Shell and Logitech that I'm going to receive extra dividends this year still. But of course, I bought Volkswagen, and because I can only see 2025 and not 2026 right now, I don't see what my total value of dividends to be received in 2026 is going to be. I already know it. I calculated it myself. It's 101 point and a bit Swiss francs. But I really would like to advise Getquin to start calculating 2026 from the moment that we pass May. So starting in June. Because it's really a problem. I think they start in October or September, but that's a gap of 3 months for dividend investors. That's not nice to have 3 extra contributions to your portfolio and don't see the evolution for 2026. So I think they should change their strategy, or how do you say that? They really should aim to start calculating 2026 from June. Certainly for European investors, as most of the companies pay out in March, April, and May, it would be nice if they actually started with calculating the next year from June on. Because now, yeah, you don't get extra information. And the thing is, this one, the P&L, it doesn't include the dividends. So other apps, they do include the dividends from the shares that you own in the P&L calculations. Getquin is really unkind to dividend investors. So it would be really nice if they took my advice into account and really started to calculate 2026 or the next year, always from the moment that we hit the month of June. And we can go back to our presentation because Logitech G and McLaren Racing are continuing their cooperation. So you have the official gaming peripherals partner of McLaren Racing is Logitech G, and so Logitech G and McLaren, they remain partners in sim racing at least for the coming years. They announced that 2 days ago, and the Logitech McLaren G Challenge will keep running as well. So I think it started in 2020, and yeah, it's a great thing when you own Logitech that you see that one of the main things that they keep focusing on is improving on their sim racing material, because I think a lot of profit is to be made there when you do it correct and nice with a nice setup. And the good thing about Logitech G is that you have from relatively cheap to really expensive as well. So it's for all budgets there. The other companies that do make sim racing setups, they are actually rather on the expensive side. So with Logitech G, at least you have the whole broad spectrum of things that you can buy, and yeah, that's nice for people that don't have a lot of money and still want to have the experience of sim racing to at a good level with good material. And then Logitech G is really a thing to consider for those people. And I'm going to include this link in the description down below so that you can have a look at it yourself. It's the link to their web shop, I believe, as well. So you can check out their gear there. And if you are into sim racing, you will see that they have really nice stuff there. And then about Amrize and Holcim, so the last thing I'm going to discuss for this video. So at the split, Amrize came out at 46 Swiss francs and Holcim was then worth 47.68 because in total, excuse me for that, in total their worth was 93.68 Swiss francs and now they are worth 39.06 Swiss francs and Holcim is worth 59.48 Swiss francs. So now in total they are worth 98.54 Swiss francs. So that's a nice plus of almost 5 Swiss francs in just 1 week. So that's really nice for the shareholders of the old Holcim. I believe a lot of people sold their Amrize shares to buy more Holcim. And yeah, I don't really understand that. I can understand it from one view because Amrize was brought to the market actually quite expensive in my view as well, but still I believe Amrize in the long run is definitely going to be worth more than 46 Swiss francs, so I'm not selling it until it's worth at least, yeah, what it's worth in the future and not what it is worth right now. So the estimations or evaluations of the banks or investment banks, the past week UBS came out with their valuations for Amrize and Holcim. So Amrize they said 53 US dollar, and with the currency rate of the US dollar compared to the Swiss francs, which is 0.80 right now, maybe it should be higher because it was 0.82 at the beginning of the week, but now it's 0.80. So 42.40 Swiss francs there. And Holcim they estimate at 52 Swiss francs. So there you have 94.40 Swiss francs. So actually both of them are momentarily worth more than what UBS is telling. And UBS is always like that, or almost always like that. They tend to underestimate the worth of stocks that they don't like. I really don't like the way UBS evaluates companies, and that's why I believe you should always be able to do your own evaluations of stocks. That's why I made the series of how to evaluate stocks. And I hope you check that video series out after this video. And then you have JP Morgan. They only gave a price for Holcim, and that was 65 Swiss francs. So that's really nice. There was one other bank, so Vontobel. I should have included it here. They have a price of 61 Swiss francs. So I believe on average, Holcim should be worth around 60-62 Swiss francs at least right now. And in that regard, a price of 59.50, that's more or less where it should be. And I'm really happy about that. Amrize, that's another thing. You have Royal Bank of Canada. They say it's worth 61 US dollar Amrize, so 48.80. So that has a huge upwards potential according to Royal Bank of Canada. And Holcim is worth only 50 Swiss francs, they say. How they come to only 50 Swiss francs is a question mark to me, but in total, they are really close to the current value of Amrize and Holcim together right now. So only a few cents above what it is standing now. And as long as it isn't clear what the earnings per share is per share of Amrize and Holcim, it is difficult to say what the actual value of those two companies is. So pure mathematically, I already said it in the two previous videos, it should be 32 Swiss francs for Amrize and 62 Swiss francs for Holcim. But it is true that Amrize has a bigger growth potential, at least according to the specialist. I believe that also Holcim has a huge growth potential because they are also present in the Latin Americas and they are present in India, in Asia, and in Australia. So they have huge potential there as well. Okay, Europe, it doesn't grow that much, but yeah, it doesn't mean that all the other territories where they are present or continents where they are present, that they can't grow there anymore. But say that they are right and say that they should be evaluated higher, Amrize, so that Amrize is valued 7 Swiss francs higher to 39, then you have to deduct 7 Swiss francs from Holcim, so that means 55. My sell value was around 120, 122 Swiss francs. If it would reach, if Holcim would have reached that value right now, I would have sold it. So that's about 28% above the value of 93.68. And so for Amrize, that would mean a sell value of 49.95 Swiss francs. So compared to the 46 francs at which it came to the market, that's really close. But still, I wouldn't have sold it for that, because it really needs to come to this price or even slightly above in order for me to sell them. And then for Holcim, it would be 70.40 Swiss francs right now. So for now, not much is going to change in my Yuh-portfolio, and I'm looking out for the EPSs of both firms so that I can start looking at my buy limit of the companies, because for me the PE needs to be below 16 for Amrize and for Holcim. So when either of the two is below a PE value of 16 in the coming months, I will for sure pick up some shares of that company or those companies. And with that being said, I thank you for watching to this video. Please hit that subscribe button like a lot of people did in the past weekend. Hit that like button as well, that helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And thank you for watching to this one, and see you on the next one on my YouTube channel. Bye!